Reflection.
Welcome. There is a lot of talk going around at the moment, from things of potential gravity loss to visitations and these sorts of things. I find it fascinating, though, the need for debate, communication from one side and the other. But there is always those who wish to downplay the existence of opportunity, conversation, and well-being of each other's own thoughts. One of the highest problems, you might say, in my viewpoint, is the egotistical defense of the system that is inherently wrong. So much so as to keep the inmates fighting against themselves and each other to maintain the oppressor's narrative. What does all those long words mean? Well, think about it for a second when looking at the world and the two sides of politics, the flat earth theory versus globe theory, the space, is it real? They're going to the moon, the Caitlin Clark in the WNBA against everyone else, the gravity, is it real? All these things have the people who support it and the people who fight to keep the narrative alive. So much so as to project hate upon other people for having an opinion. And the problem is, when you have these two sides of things, ego gets involved. One side, we have the NPCs and the puppets who are supporting the narrative. They're the ones that trust the science, if you know what I mean. And they will defend it with their life. And that is not human culture. Why would you defend tyranny? Why would you defend the government who are putting all of this upon you? It means they have lost their way. That doesn't mean anyone is right. The problem isn't whether it's one or the other. That is the system in itself. The existence of those debates, for example, with flat earth and the globe theory. The idea that something can exist as a thought, that flat earth is there. Why have they proven or taken so much time to debunk that? Same with 9/11 and COVID. They've spent more money in infiltrating that narrative to protect the false one. If that doesn't tell you there's more truth in that matter, then I don't know what does. This doesn't matter whether it is a globe or not, we don't know. But the idea of creation itself is where I'm heading with this. The imagination of thought and words and creative and spoken realities. The people in power, the elitists, they know they don't actually have to create anything, because if we look at all the structures, they can't. They don't have that inbuilt DNA, that coded structure, or it was taken from them when they decided to commit all the atrocities, whatever it might be. So they need you to create it. So what they can do is provide a thought, a subject, a question, a debate. So they throw a word out there. Let's take this gravity loss. They throw it out there. Oh, by the way, you're gonna experience this. People then come up going, well, gravity doesn't exist. People will then say, well, they're removing the dome. People will come out and say, well, the globe is spinning. How is that going to hold everything down? If you lose gravity for 7 seconds, everything that isn't tied or cemented into the ground will rise. That is catastrophic when you think about it. Because if gravity is real, everything holding everything down will lose that Cars, homes, buildings, everything. But what if it didn't? What if it wasn't that? But that's exactly what they were trying to create by throwing the narrative out there, and the social media influencers and trenders who jump on it like a fly to a piece of food. They're the ones who are promoting the narratives. They highlight the atrocities or the good things. No matter what it is, they just have to put the word out there and the people will do the rest. Because they have podcasts, they have trending, they have all these things that they want to become popular and wealth and be the next money-making idea, that they take whatever is given to them without even questioning it. This is the proactive versus reactive solution. People are now so heavily reactive on these ideas that they are creating them themselves. If, for example, gravity is lost, let's say it exists, everything rises. Water, buildings, people, cars, the whole lot rises. It exists, right? That's the end. Apart from potential people who may be structured down or whatever. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, there are a few comedians who talk about it as well, that the illusion of space, the illusion of reality and planets and this sort of thing is only being held together by the schooling system, the imagination of people, the ego fighting for the narrative, the science. The whole thing is just held together by that belief. 90% of the comments in people's reels when they talk about flat earth or globe is AI bots. They are farms who are releasing these words and trigger words, and they react because of it. No human person should ever downplay the existence of an idea or a conversation. It doesn't matter whether it's wrong or it's right. Everyone has that belief. They have that communication. Go, well, tell me why you think it's right. I go, that's fascinating. I think it's like this. And you have a confident debate without anger, without violence, or negativity. So all of these people about Caitlin Clark and how there's unfair justice in the world, that is projected hate from some people, and then others support it. But again, it is a narrative, it is a distraction to keep it going. And if the WNBA were smart, they would realize that it's getting so much traction, so much this, so much that. So why wouldn't it play out where they all know they're making it happen because that's what's drawing the attention of the people, and negative publicity is good publicity. I think everyone must remember that the people in power, the Hollywoods, the elites, the sportists, all of them know what's going on. It's not some simple idea that's just gotten out of control. No, it is to take your attention and focus away from things that matter. It is to keep their system alive. It doesn't matter how much you look at it, no one trusts the government. There's the same story by Bill Murray, who said, if we lie to the government, it's a felony. But if they lie to us, it's politics. It's like, what's good for them is not good for us. There's rules for thee and not for thy. Those types of mentality. But how quickly things disappear. We have all the injustices of the world with Fauci and COVID now being overrun by this gravity thing, by all of these ideas to make people's energies and focus shift on other things. All of the Epstein files, all of the things that were there are slowly disappearing. The burning of the books, the rewriting of history once again. The death of so-called suspicious people who are trying to help support people and understand the true nature of realities and electricity. They want to rewrite history, and to do it, they need to get the books. You have all the AI data centers being built now, the water being reduced and poisoned, and there's so much around that. It just makes you question. What is happening in the world is chaos. Indecision in people's minds. It is going so fast that people forget that we have the imagination, we have the power, we are the creators. The difference isn't as much as what you choose to do with your reality. It's who's telling you what is yours. Are you the one guiding your own thoughts, or are you still following the system? Are you still following the narrative? I'd like to circle back to the whole NASA thing, space and science. And when you sit down with your own thoughts, your own imagination, creation, and think about it for a second, think about all what is possible. Are we really spinning? Or is that an illusion? Is there really outside space that we can travel to, or is that just the fabricated lie that because it's taught so much in science and education, it remains that way? It does lead so much more to a created universe, one of holographic nature. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying the areas of our life that have the most meaning, the areas that should be taught in schools, have nothing to do with the world outside of education, but the world inside your own heart. There's been a lot of movies and TV shows that point to the fabric of reality being a linear, and these types of 3D worlds, 4D, 5D, and all of that. And I think it is. I think it is a structural, layered system. I think there's more behind the ice wall that's why they don't want the world to heat up, because it will start melting. Every aspect that you look at that they protect with a warning or a fear holds truth. Global warming will raise the waters. No, it won't. Global warming will have this, carbon dioxide, we breathe this, all of that sort of stuff. COVID will do this, we don't want to have that, we have fear. Everything, every policy, every structure that they create has fear. Whenever someone from a government system or a power play generates fear or brings in celebrities or projects hatred on others who have that, you know they're hiding the truth. So what? What does it all mean? Why does it matter? Why do people care? I don't know. And the beauty of that is an understanding that we don't have all the answers. We don't go looking for all the answers. Everyone who is a social media influencer, who is trying to make way and comment on the status of the world, you have to ask them, are they looking to help humanity? Are they looking to change? Or are they actually part of the reactive problem? So whatever gets fed to them, they release it. Whether they know it or not, they are doing exactly what the system wants them to. I don't know where we're headed, but the other day I was thinking about it going, it doesn't make sense. A lot of the world, the science behind it, the education behind it. What if all of the so-called smart people in the world that everyone looked up to was actually fed information, and they're all actors? They're not smart at all. They were like, have this, do that, do that. They're being told what to do. If you take that content and context and then look at all the people that did have the smarts that were trying to change realities and change the world, they all died, they were shunned, they were hated upon. And that's been a forever constant through the reality, because they've always tried to attack the system through the system. And that doesn't work. The world is asking for more people to ignore it and build it a new one. You can't ignore the atrocities and the hatred, but every time there is more violence, more people react to it, and then they're more enraged, and anger creates more realization of reality first than love does, because it has more power. This is why that dark side energy is so strong, because there's hate and it is power. But it is only perceived power over what love actually can do. But you have to ignore it. We have to come together and start building the realities of what needs to be new. And who knows? Maybe this whole event is exactly why they were digging underground. Maybe this is why they were trying to take all the water to the centers quickly. Maybe it has nothing to do with it and it will be flawed. But before we all go and jump to conclusions about things, we must ask ourselves one simple fact. Where did the information come from? So I'll leave you with that thought to ponder. So I'll leave you with that. You know what, to be honest, I've actually forgotten what my own ending was from all my stuff. So I'll leave you with peace and love. Take care.